Alright, since we're still waiting for parts from JHP, they are lagging. I ended up going out and getting lower and up radiator hose from AutoZone. So we'll be slapping on the radiator hoses as well as the block CE fan. We're still not wiring that up yet since we're waiting for the connectors. And we're also going to go ahead and install the new Ktuned arms to get rid of the old ass eBay ones, which as you can see are missing hardware. So I'm sure there's like a million of these videos on how to do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and make my own, so stay tuned. So first things first, take out the cotter pin, which we did earlier. Break this loose. This is a 17 millimeter. Break free the castle nut, and then you get yourself ball joint puller, which I borrowed from work, which I'm hoping works in these cars as well. If not, we have another OG one, which looks like it might not work on this car. Damn it. Well, luckily for me, the ball joint's already fucked, so we could use the other tool we have. So, since we're not able to use this, which does come in handy by the way, if you don't have one, I say you invest in one. We were forced to use the old school fork, which just goes in through here and you pop it down or pop it up. And this was a lot looser than I thought it was, so I didn't really need to hammer it. So now that that's loose, we're going to go ahead and on the shock tower there's two, just a second. One bolt there, one bolt on the back side, and that's going to get the arms free. So we already went ahead and cracked free the bolts. Already took off the back side, and obviously as you can see, to do this you do have to remove your battery. So, broke it free. And you notice with the other one, and this is actually a pretty smart thing to do. Always put anti-seize on bolts to prevent rusting and make sure they go in smoother so you don't strip your shit. So, now you have both bolts out, get rid of the castle nut. Now we undo the castle nut, and our control arm should come out. Trusty fork. Oh yeah. Slide it forward. And voila. Out with this shit. As you can see, they had to be replaced. Hardware could easily be installed. However, ball joint, extremely fucked. That's why he went out and decided to upgrade, which I really do appreciate, to these nice fancy schmancy Ktuned arms. As you can see off the bat, this is a much higher quality arm compared to whatever brand this is, which they just look like modified stock arms, really. So off the bat, these are stronger tubular design compared to stamped sheet metal or stamp metal. Good. Bad. Good. Bad. So the install procedure is pretty much the reverse. Get this in first, do the two on the sides, then do the arm at the end, ball joint at the end, and then we're also going to set the camber as well. So we went ahead, got the arm up there on, step those back in, clean them off and apply some fresh anti-seize. Next step is this. So we're going to jack this up a bit to apply some pressure onto this. And then start getting the snug and adjusting the camber. Alright, so camber adjustments are made here via one 5mm Allen key. You just here, loosen. There's 3 on each side. Once it's loosened, obviously loosen, cast another bit here. Move the arm in or out for your adjustments. I haven't loosened it very much since he's still on steelies and not the final wheels he's gonna run. So we're gonna leave it where it came originally. Tighten them down. Snug this up. Not torque it yet because you're supposed to torque all suspension bits with the weight of the vehicle on the car. So we're gonna torque these after. Alright, so we just finished torquing the ball joints and the arms. So, like I stated earlier, to properly torque suspension, you have to place the wheel of the weight of the vehicle on the arm. So in this case, I grabbed a block of wood, which I just had in my hand. Place it on the jack. Jack this up to simulate the load. Tighten down the ball joint, torque that per the Honda service manual, 35 foot-pounds. Once that was torqued and we got the cotter pin in, moved on to these, which torque specs per the Honda manual are 40 foot-pounds. So now that you finally got one side done, we're moving on to the driver's side. So the procedure on the driver's side is essentially the same. 14mm bolt here, and that little guy back there. So there's a couple ways you could go about doing this. You could pop off this vacuum line here and just drop the ratchet in, have at it, or with the ratchet or a ratcheting wrench, if you have a ratchet big enough to accommodate, come in through here, demonstrating like so. This one's a little longer, but coming in through there. And as you can see, you're able to get on the bolt. So there's different ways to go about it. I'll be doing the latter. So same procedure as the other side. Remove cotter pin. Brake nut free. So now fork in between and lift up. So it's free. In this case, since these things are, well, as you can see, these ball joints are extremely fucked. It doesn't take that much effort to pop loose just like that. Walk it off. And bam, out. As you can see, this is why we're doing this. Because this just isn't suitable for daily driving. Or I mean, it's just not suitable for driving whatsoever. So next up are the 2 bolts up top, and we'll pull this arm off and get the new one in. So one thing I did forget to show was this. So as you can see, I have the block of wood on the lower control arm, not on the rotor. Puts the suspension under some load. Now we tighten this down, get ready to torque it, as well as the 2 bolts in the shock tower. Keep walking this thing on a bit more. Get it nice and snug before we torque it down. Once again, ball joints for Hondas, 35 foot-pounds. The bolts that go in here, 40 foot-pounds. Numbers are fairly easy to remember. Alright, got that one. Snug the 2 and then we'll torque them down. Now as you can see, arms are on. Both sides have been torqued down, installed. And I think that'll do it for today. It's getting a little late and I have to be up early for work. So we'll pick up tomorrow and pull off the old hoses, move that there, move this over because this is not where it's supposed to be. Move it over back to where it should be so we can properly sit the radiator on it. And then yeah. So we'll pick back up tomorrow.